Hi, I'm Mike Hughes, Next Level Training. This series of videos is just to get you started so you can start cranking on your training right away. But before you start, it's really best to try to do perfect practice because only perfect practice makes perfect. So we're going to go through the fundamentals real quickly here, starting with trigger control. The definition of trigger control is minimal disturbance of the muzzle of the whole gun while you're engaging the trigger, the firing sequence. And when you first start out, your trigger control may look something like this. Okay, with a right-handed shooter, we call that a 9 o'clock sweep. So if you could imagine a clock around that target, that piece of paper down there, and a 9 o'clock would be to the left because with a right hand, it tends to throw it off to the left, the whole gun. So if I go strong hand only, just without any support, I can really see some trigger mechanic deficiencies. Our goal is to have a dot, not a dash. So our objective is to send around something like that. And I can still improve my trigger mechanics somewhat. So, fundamentals of trigger mechanics. Grab your gun as you feel natural. We'll talk about grip and stance later. Put your finger in the trigger guard, because right now I am ready to shoot. And see where your trigger finger naturally sits, okay? You can do what we call more of a combat trigger, where it just fits in there naturally and you press it rearward, or more of a trophy trigger where you're using the tip of the finger. Play around with it, see what works for you. Once the finger is in the trigger guard, basically, however you engage the trigger, whether it's your tip or your first knuckle, try to position that trigger straight rearward to the flesh between your thumb and your forefinger. All right, feel it at first. Now, go back to your target. Position the sights on the target and press rearwardly and try to get that laser into a nice dot and not a dash. That is some basic fundamentals of trigger control.